Hey, how you doing? James Ellis here. Welcome to another edition of The Next Step, the podcast, the video cast, if you will, where we talk about how you can take the next step into AI as a talent acquisition leader, a recruiter, or employer brander. Remember, it's not about spending piles of money on an AI tool so it forces you to do AI the way someone else wants you to do it. It's about learning AI as a skill so that you can take advantage of the stuff that's already available right now. We only look at easily available, widely available, low-cost tool sets like ChatGPT, Claude, and today we're going to talk about Perplexity. That's right. I've touched on Perplexity now and then in the past, but today we're going to dive feet first, all the way in, making a big splash into Perplexity. Now, before we get in, a reminder, nobody pays me for this. Any bias that I'm bringing to this is 1000% my own. So if ChatGPT or Perplexity or anybody else would like to sponsor this, feel free to back the money truck up. You know what? I can be bought. That said, this is really about you, the TA leader, the recruiter, the sourcer, the employer brander, getting better, building the skills that you need. Now, today, we're going to talk about how to use Perplexity because it's a little different. Now, I've mentioned Perplexity before. And how is it different from ChatGPT? Well, the funny thing is that I kind of realized I was not using Claude as much lately. And I said, well, if I turn that off because I'm not using it as often, I have $20 burning a hole in my pocket. Where would I apply that? And the Perplexity was the exact obvious answer. I had, people like Brian Fink had showed me about some really cool stuff. I really want to get into it. And I knew that using the free version, I only got 2 or 3 searches a day. And I was like, I can't really learn much on that. I'll pay the money, see what I can do. It's still my first month, but I'm going to say right now, I'm going to keep it for a while. This is pretty good stuff. Maybe wait till Claude launches something cool that maybe I swap my money over. Who's to say? So here's what we're going to do. Perplexity is not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is searching and building LLM and responding based on lots of data that it scraped, legally or not, separate conversation. But it's a little stale. It's a little old. It's not getting stuff that came out yesterday or 2 weeks ago. It's getting you stuff that came out months ago. It's scraping it, cleaning it, dumping it, processing it. And in that time, you're getting slightly stale information. Perplexity is like Google plus ChatGPT, which I'm not the first person to say that. So the content you're getting is far more accurate. It's far more new. It's got citations without asking. It's not trying to hallucinate an answer it thinks you want. It's trying to say, I searched a bunch of stuff and this is what I came up with. So I thought to myself, okay, this is a really cool tool for me, but I'm a business owner and I'm not a TA leader, so I don't have the exact right use case for me. What would I do? What am I talking about? This is the next step. What do? I go to ChatGPT and I ask ChatGPT, thinking as a TA leader, and you can see my sloppy ass prompt here, suggest 10 interesting tricks or hacks on how to use Perplexity to be more effective at work. Now, you might suggest or might consider the idea that these are 2 tools who are in competition for your AI dollar, that maybe they don't like each other. Well, here's the funny thing is, they're not people. They're tools. They're machines. They get along just fine. And if I ask ChatGPT how to better use Perplexity, ChatGPT is going to be like, you got it, boss. I'm going to show you everything I know. And it's great. So don't feel like you're having to compete these things. There's a lot of cool stuff happening where you say, I'm going to use Perplexity, do a bunch of research, have it generate the list of its sources, grab those sources, and I can stick it in, say, a notebook LLM or notebook LM to say, these are the sources I want you to grab and hold on to. So Perplexity is searching for all your sources. Notebook LM is processing them so you can use them on a regular basis. It's kind of crazy. And then once you use that, maybe you go to Claude or ChatGPT to do your writing. I know. It's amazing. Okay. So despite my sloppy prompt, James, sloppy prompt Ellis. There's no kind of like structure to my prompt. And I think a lot of this prompt engineering stuff is starting to fall by the wayside. Yes, give it some context like, hey, you're a TA leader. Don't just say, give me 10 interesting tricks on how to use Perplexity. Too broad. You're a TA leader. Do it that way. You might say employer brander. See what happens. Okay. So it came back with lots of different answers. And I'm going to read a couple of ideas. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm going to try to go into 2. The first is competitor velocity, hiring velocity radar. Now, I don't actually know what that means, but dang, that's sexy set of words, right? That's the sort of words that if you used it in a sentence, you know someone's going to say, this person deserves a promotion. Like that's like language like that. Ooh, so hot under the collar level of sexy here. That is cool stuff. And I'll let you read and you can do your own searches because, you're adult, and you can figure this stuff out. Salary, brand, triangulator, again, deeply sexy words, but you're not in Comp and Ben, so maybe not so much. EVP differentiation quick test. If you had any idea how many of these I did a day, you would know I do a lot of these a day. I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to give you all the secrets, but hey, you can write your own prompt around ChatGPT and see how I could use Perplexity yourself and do a lot of the same stuff that I do. Persona channel finder, hiring manager brief pack, outreach angle generator, geo talent micro map. I mean, again, the words. Ooh, I'm getting all flushed. Content gap scan. All right, lots of stuff. Oh, here's a fun one. Vendor shortlist and smartest question pack. I'm not going to get into that, but here it is. You're buying an XYZ. You've never used much XYZ before, your CRM, your whatever it is. Hey, show me a shortlist and generate smart questions for it. Might be helpful. Just saying. Spoiler, speaking of which, if you want to get a short list about your employer brand vendors, check out evpbuyerguide.com, evpbuyersguide.com. It is now 25 agencies doing business in North America in their own words, side by side, so that you can make your short list in moments. It's fantastic. It's got a lot of other extra information, a lot of extra useful tools, but that's what you do. evpbuyersguide.com. Thank you so much. All right. What are we going to get into? We're going to get into the outreach angle generator, but we're going to start with the persona channel finder. Okay, so we're going to grab the prompt like that, like so, and then we're going to jump over to Perplexity and we're going to paste the prompt. We're going to say, hey, identify 10 high signal communities where, pick your audience, actively hang out. For each, show me audience size, typical topics, and posting cadence and how to contribute. All right, so we're going to do civil engineers. You're welcome, Jim. I know you're watching. We're going to use civil engineers, and we'll see what it comes up with, because I don't know what's going to come up with. Boom. So it's going to generate, oh, look, and this is fast. So it's showing you everything it's looking at. It's showing the content it's looking at. It's going to show you the tools. Now, here's the first one, civil engineering on Reddit. No shocker. You know, it's a big audience, 71,000 people, typical topics, posting cadence, lots of good stuff. Real civil engineering Discord. Okay, 18,000 members. And if you know they're on Discord, you know they're nerd bombers, and that's great. That's super useful stuff that you can use. And here are the topics, and here's what they do. Here's another Discord on engineering students. I don't know. Are you hiring interns? Jim, moving on. Jim's top of mind lately. What can I say? Largest civil engineering group meetups. Okay, meetups might be your thing, might not be. The civilengineer.org, 12,000 registered, got a newsletter, got a forum. American Society of Civil Engineers, that's patently obvious. But here's the deal. Some of these things are things you've never heard of, and some of the things are so obvious, you're like, why did they bother returning it? But showing it side by side gives you really good, useful information, especially if you're going to say, hey, boss, we need to spend money so we can get our people in the American Society of Civil Engineers, I guess. I don't know how much it costs. But look, these are the topics they're talking about. If we talked about them too, people will be more engaged and look at the audience size. It's a good way to kind of collect the data you need to create a business case for joining some of these organizations. Nerd work spelled with an E. Booyah. Niche civil engineering job board. Maybe you're using this job board. Maybe you don't. Hey, look, ASCE job board. More engineers. Ask Engineers Reddit. It's an even bigger subscriber base. Structville newsletter and website. Cool stuff. Okay. When someone asks you why employer branding is so necessary, tell them this. Employer branding makes every single recruiter you have your best recruiter. It means that the work of every individual compounds. So there's no star on the team anymore. Everybody is resourced and trained and supported so that they can all be your best recruiter. Sound interesting? Well, guess what? It doesn't have to be too complicated. You can have an employer brand that makes all your recruiters more effective for, well, a lot less than you think and a lot faster than you think. If you'd like to learn more, check out Employer Brand Labs and me. I'm James Ellis. Would love to tell you more about how employer branding can help make all of your recruiters stars. So what I liked about what ChatGPT did is it said, look, here's the prompt. Here's the follow-up. And I love it, the fact that it's really getting to the point where it's understanding that these are not, I have a question, you have an answer, we're done. It's very much let's have a back and forth to hone exactly what I'm looking for. So let's grab this follow-up, because the follow-up is clever. Rank all these by lowest effort and most likely or most highest likely candidate quality. That is, tell me where to spend my time and where to avoid wasting my time. And you got to love that. It's going to do some more searching. And boom, here is our ranked core area. Reddit, very low effort, right? Everybody can join that Reddit. Everybody can get into that group. Easy, easy, easy. However, and the thing is just because it's easy doesn't mean it's useful. Just if it's easy for you, it's easy for everybody. And if this is a channel that's filled with recruiters, you being there is not necessarily of maximum value. But this is a good way to kind of sort what's going on. You might even say, here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to the original prompt, identify 10 unusual or uncommon high signal communities. We're going to say, look, yeah, we got it. Meetups. We know how to search a meetup. Yeah, we know where Reddit is. Go deep, go nerdy, go focused. Discord, the tailgate for construction engineers. Now, it's not a big, I don't think this is a big one, but man, emerging. Yeah, audience size is emerging, so it's not that big. Still in the dozens, and it's invite based. But man, if you can get in there, more niche aspects threads. Here's civil engineering. You can find special niches in it. Society for Women Engineers, National Society of Professional Engineers. These are smaller groups. And because they're smaller, you can get focused on them. You can talk about it. The staff engineering Slack Discord. Look, energy job line. So have the back and forth, get deep, understand what's going on so that you can target and find out how to put your name out there and your company's name and engage this audience to learn more about your audience. Okay, that's step one. Let's try a different one. And I think I wanted to do, yes, the outreach angle generator. Love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this and we're going to say, okay, new, booyah. Using public information, craft 5 killer lines to open cold outreach to... let's stick to civil engineers. All right, so let's run it. So it's going to run and it's going to grab public information. It's like going to say, hey, look, based on everything you know publicly about civil engineers, what are 5 things I could say that would make them go, oh, wow, that really gets me. That's what I care about. And it's going to be kind of creative, I hope. Okay, through the magic of editing, I forgot to switch tabs. So I'm going to do this one more time. So here it is. Here's the content it produced out of that prompt. Produce 3, you did all this research about civil engineers and what they care about and what's going to resonate, what's going to grab their attention, and now turn them into deliverable, actionable content. Here are some emails. Here are some in-mails. Are they the best written in-mails and emails? And you can see them. You can read them. They're kind of fine. They're kind of dry. They're kind of meh. And okay, maybe you might say there's a case to be made that civil engineers are kind of meh. I would disagree. I suspect that civil engineers are actually human beings with emotions and feelings and ambition and drive and all this other wonderful stuff that this might not be tapping into as readily as it could. So in which case, I would say, take this, copy it, jump over to ChatGPT and say, hey, these are some email and in-mail ideas to reach civil engineers about things they care most about. Can you rewrite these and hone these to be more clear, more resonant, and really compel action? Boom, show me what you got. This is how you leverage these tools. It's not about the tool, it's about the skill set, about understanding when to use each and how to use each, that each is its own thing, right? You don't just have a hammer and you're the hammer person. You have to have a hammer and a screwdriver, maybe even a little wrench. And sometimes you need a little doohickey with the Allen wrench to put your IKEA stuff together because let's be fair, IKEA. You need to understand how the tools work. You don't just specialize in one and just say that's what you do. This is the future of recruiting and employer branding and leadership, is leveraging these tools as a skill. If you wait for your HR team or somebody else, IT, to say, hey, we made a huge investment in this tool you've never heard of or have never used before, use it. And you're kind of toast, right? You are now playing follow the leader, and you don't want to be that. You're not that kind of employer brand, or you're not that kind of TA leader. You're the kind of person who says, I'm an expert in what I do. I have learned to apply this thinking through a variety of tools because it's about the skill, not about the tool. So take the next step. Take this idea and say, how do we get better together? If you've got an idea, if you've got a challenge, if you've got a cool little hack that you want to show off, you got to let me know. I want to show you off, or I want to show the world how we solve our everyday recruiting and recruiting leadership problems using these off-the-shelf tools. Yeah, there's some good, cool stuff coming down the pipe, but right now you've got to learn these skills or you're going to get left behind, and I do not want that for you. If this has been useful, you got to tell someone. You got to share the episode. You got to share the newsletter. with a fellow recruiter, with an employer brander, with a TA leader, you got to talk about it on social media. You got to let your audience, your networks know that this is how we work and this is how we win together. This is how we become more effective for our companies and help them grow. I hope this has been useful, and I hope to see you next week on The Next Step.